Hello there, Facebook world, Twitter, YouTube, live here today. It is rainy Friday here in Connecticut. We've got lots to talk about. I got Victoria Eloise live in the house with me, and she's been a busy woman pulling up some of the dirt that we've been looking at, saying, "What the bleep?" Because it is just very, very concerning. Masks and money. Everybody is talking about masks everywhere. So I'm your host, Jay Cherry. I got Victoria Eloise in the house. If you want to visit us online at jcherrypresents.com, and you can sign up for my email list. I hope I got that fixed and set up there. And if it doesn't work, you can message me through the website, I hope, or message me here on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. And you can also make a tax-deductible donation to support our work. And without further ado, let's get Victoria up here. Victoria, you have been a busy lady.
Busy online, yes. Busy reading, researching, but not busy like parents. Not busy like you. So, but yes, I have.
So what did you? This is really this post on the that we have up here that you posted. So let's just get right into the juice of it here. Who is this guy? Let me pull this up real quick for the audience to see. Who are we looking at here?
So, and these articles are totally, they're not hidden, you just, and this is an example of them putting out a little fluff piece on, what do you say, the first picture. So they put out this little fluff piece and then don't tell anyone else but the people who are in the club, the Greenwich Club.
The Greenwich Club, which
the
is...
people who don't have to sign the ledger book by executive order.
Oh my gosh. This is just like, it's insane. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane.
So I'll just go right into reading this. So I thought Anne and the governor were only profiting off, that's bad enough, but we're only profiting off COVID testing. Obviously, the more you dig, every time you go forward and pull a thread, it confirms the thread before. It's depressing at times, but so much corruption. So I thought they were profiting on semaphore, Mount Sinai, Genomics, or the other Shell subsidiaries, Princeton Capital. There are Boston Consulting Group, all different. Their money's all connected in some way, They all share auditors and they all share real estate management companies, These are people that have spent time in these relationships for a long time. High authority. So all those Shell subsidiaries connected to this company now does and works in Connecticut, and that's...
I'm sorry. I'm maneuvering. Somebody just sorry about that, guys. I'm just trying to, let me pull this back up. Sorry, Victoria, I didn't mean to.
I was pausing, not because of you. I was reading. I just, sometimes I just get so blown away by this stuff.
Oh, me too. So we had an audio glitch that somebody, thank you, Anne, for letting us know that. So I'm hoping this works. Remember, I was telling you the echo cancellation wasn't, hopefully yeah. Let me just see the levels here. Okay, I'm seeing you. I'm seeing Skype. And let me just do one more just little technical thing here. Bear with me.
Take your time.
I am like being... here, hold on a second. So we're live, we're talking about some heavy duty stuff. Just bear with me as I work through, and then I put it out there and it didn't go to public. So yeah, that was just like a little bit frustrating. So let me put this back to here. So I got you there, and then I'm going back here. And where are all my little camera things? Okay. Hold on a second. I just lost all my little camera bits. Here we go. And
No worries. Literally. I
here we go. Options. And we're live in real time. It just goes to figure. We were talking about bloopers before. And
I love them. I'm
having there we go. Fun. I'm like, where is my screen? It's not there. And then we're just on Victoria here. And she's so patient with me. All right. We are back and we're running. So let's get back. Wait, let me just get this screen. Now I lost my computer screen. So let me do this. Bear with me, guys. Just want to go and do the screen share. Oh boy, where did it go? Now I figured it out. Here we go. Here we go.
No sweat.
And where did my other things go here? Just sorry, guys.
Oh, poor thing.
I'm having a really big blooper moment. My technology is not working for me right now. So here we go. Show the scene window. Thank you. Don't close that on me again. I'm not talking to you guys. I'm talking to myself. So, let me get this here. Here we go. There. Back to where I wanted to be. Bear with me, guys. Sorry about that faux pas there. So, Victoria, you could get right back into that with what we're talking about with this dude that we're looking at here.
Sure. So, we know that Anne is attached to multiple. She's attached, and of course the governor is as well. That's his freaking wife. It's not like they're third cousins who live across the country. They live in the same house. You know what I'm saying? So she has the COVID companies, but she's directly, closely involved with one of the companies that, when you call them, the companies in Florida, same name as the company, you call them and they tell you they're providers, and they tell you what the cost, the typical, but that you call them to hear the cost. What am I charging?
Mm-hmm.
Free quote, you get a free estimate, and they're telling you that they're setting the costs for Medicaid, for particularly Medicare. And we know the Lamonts, they do bad things to state social services programs. They do. And so the fact that, you've seen it we've talked about it before in articles, how every dang article says Medicaid or Medicare related to her funds. So, and the cost of the severe cases of COVID, moderate to severe, anywhere between 10 grand and 55 grand for one freaking patient.
Wow. So
yeah. So I don't want to go into, you got to see the picture. It proves. But I just, she's setting the cost of care, and she's going to benefit from the drug. The drug is being treated, and I'll go into this, but the drug is being treated in trials in Israel right now. And that's going to be the drug for patients here in social service, Medicare and Medicaid programs. So she's going to profit off the drug. And yes, so this is the article, this first picture. Sorry, that was a little introduction there.
That's okay. That's okay.
People in there. So this deal that went down, and it's written about in the Nashville Post. You have to excuse me, my breathing and speech is a little bit more challenging today. So if you need me to repeat anything, please ask. So the deal that went down with Carebridge, which is the company that I'm about to go into, was backed by a lot of money from Oak Healthcare and FinTech. And guess who is board chairman?
Oh.
Guess.
Could it be Annie?
Annie Huntress. You know? Fine. Okay. But so this article, it's just like a fluff piece. And it went down in Tennessee. And so slowly, well, this article was written January 13th, 2020. So this kind of happened pretty recently. And their marketing and websites, and phenomenal in such a short period, because their marketing skills are on point. So this, and look at this underlined in the middle. Carebridge initial products will be rolled out throughout the duration of 2020. Well, this was January early. There weren't a ton of cases in the US of COVID. The first one was, oh gosh, I wish I knew this. I forget. I haven't, but I believe it was January 8th. And so right around that time, and this big startup just moves, becomes involved in treating and setting, or not treating, but setting costs and preparing to treat all these things. And they have so much money. And it's like, yeah, it's coincidental. Next picture.
Coincidental. Yeah, right.
Which, if this was the only coincidence, I wouldn't be here, right? I wouldn't be researching someone who works hard to be a straight shooter.
Well, what we're seeing is definitely not anything that could be even the equivalent of a straight shooter. We're being robbed blind by these folks. And this is, it's interesting because they've spent all this money on medical supplies, yet there was a meeting that they had yesterday. The Republicans put together a Zoom call about COVID, and they were talking, which was great because this is the first time there's some Republicans that are, the Republican caucus came out and wrote the governor and questioning some of the medical mandates and stuff, or not the medical mandates. Well, mask wearing is a medical mandate, but questioning stuff. And then what I walked away from that Zoom call was they still don't have PPE. And I tagged you in this earlier, how they want the nursing homes. They want the nursing homes to pay for the PPE. And all that money they spent, just adding that in as a...
I posted, I'm going to repost that. And it's not like my posts are so important, but I've read a lot of this stuff. And I found a contract titled, my memory is not on point today, but it was titled it was related to money, the nurses' emergency preparedness it wasn't contract, but that was essentially the name that went into effect. I think it was December 2019.
Wow.
It's like, and the contract says the once a certain amount is exhausted, no more nursing homes can get any more money, any more
Yeah.
funding. So it sounds related to that, you know.
Definitely. I think so. It's pretty
That's
scary.
that. That's so sad.
It's
I,
very sad. And it's always, and just what you're discovering with the Medicaid, right? Because a lot of times, elder people who end up in these nursing homes are on Medicaid and have exhausted, there's no family members that are able to care for them in the home. And they just don't care. They honestly just don't care. They don't care, but they're taking all this money. I'm sorry to get
well,
sidetracked, but it's connects.
just think about it in a commons, which you obviously have a lot of common sense. Think about it in a common sense way. We, the Department of Social Services, uh, since in 2020, I believe it's $8 billion, much more last year because of the full year, but we haven't gone obviously
Yeah.
through the full year. Think about, what do you know about nursing homes? They're a terror. You don't want to bring your parents there. That's like the why is that? If billions are coming into our state, and this is not only happening here, of course not, but billions are coming into states for programs like Medicare and Medicaid and WIC and Department of Developmental Services and all these real social service programs that are known as just terrible places. Why? If they have so much money.
Mm-hmm.
So just,
Where
yeah,
is the money going? Hmm. Let's say. So, what is this slide
yeah.
that
Sorry.
the next
I
picture
know
that this?
we got sidetracked. Hold
Yeah.
on. So sorry.
No, that's okay. We segued right back in. I mean, it all connects because. So, what is this Care Bridge? I see Annie on the board.
So one picture before, actually.
One picture before. Sorry about
Yeah.
that, guys. So
Oh,
the
that's my fault.
the Care Bridge article, or we're going into the
Oh,
graphs.
so it should say CareBridge, and it has like kind of big numbers on it.
Uh huh.
Two,
Here we
two
go.
thousand. Yeah.
I think I got it up here. Yep.
So this $40 million,
Yep.
we know, to Oak Healthcare and FinTech, and this may have changed. Well, you can see right there in the uh, darker red square rectangle, it tells you again, or shows you board members. And PitchBook is yes, it's a .com. Yes, it's a .com, but it has tons of specs about a lot of businesses. So I use it, and it shows you here she's on the board, and there's 3 investors, which means 33%, 33.335% goes to her directly. Or, yeah, or yes, not her, just her. All her investment, that's all you know. Those are the investors you know. But that's trickle down effect. Excuse me, trickle sideways effect. It doesn't come down to us. But yes, so she's super involved. Okay, next picture.
Oh boy, this looks so nice.
Well, there's a lot of them. See, there, there's And these are just the ones that I spent a few hours on, 3, 4 hours. We got lovely Miss Annie, lovely Miss Blonde Annie on the board right there.
Yep.
And so that is Carebridge. Right above there is Carebridge. Obviously, they're part of nursing home functioning.
That
You
is
know,
so crazy. You know what makes me, I'm sorry again, because I was
please,
just
I
reading
need
about
that. I
her.
need you to, yeah.
You know something? Okay, so there was an article last year. There was a FOIA on her. I posted that earlier today because the discussion of the nursing homes is coming up again with the PPE, particularly this time, which I found quite interesting when we went through all the money being spent out from various different places for medical supplies. And the state is still deficient with medical supplies like PPE. And that nursing homes need to give their own PPE, provide it for their patient, the people there. So the other thing is she was quoted in March of 2019
Ugh.
saying that the nursing homes, we should not have people in nursing homes. And I thought that was so interesting because in March of 2020, as we came into the COVID thing with this pandemic and how much death has occurred in nursing homes, and one of the people serving on the reopening committee is Ezekiel Emanuel, who has been quoted as saying that after 75, you're taking up space and air, and maybe you don't need that surgery for your heart, or some cancer therapy or anything for what ails you, because you're 75. Then you've had it. You're done.
And a quick thing. Easy, Dr. Emmanuel, he has family in Israel, and the drug is being tested in Israel. Not saying there's a freaking, uh, but he and his brother. I mean, obviously, and they have family, and there's just so many connections.
Yeah.
Right on. You
Yeah.
know? So yeah. So these people,
This
and
is
then
just outrageous. Their propaganda that they put out here, like they look like they're such caring individuals. Let's pull the screen up again. What we're talking about. Look at this. Oh, excellence. The Cambridge.
this is 4 of them that I found. Like, excuse me, this is 3 of them, but that right, in an hour. So we'll go into
What are the medical treatment and costs associated with COVID-19, Carebridge? What does it, Victoria?
well, if you go to the next picture, I'll tell you.
Wow. Oh. What
So
are?
so it's Little Miss Mask face right here. Do you see her?
Yep.
And I'm so sorry. I know COVID-19 is real, but the hijackers of it, the manipulators, I'm not happy. I'm not happy about that.
I hear you.
So they say, so this is who you call. I'm 95% sure it's for providers. But
how interesting.
Yeah. So if you read this, so I'll read it. We, Carebridge, host the largest independent data set of property and causality claims accident injury data. Conflict of interest. Okay? If you're involved in Connecticut business, it's a conflict of interest for her. Because she knows the financials of Connecticut, which makes her able to have monopolies, because she knows.
Wow.
She knows, who's making the big stock trade, what's going to make the money, she knows the history and this, kind of set future. There's so much that has happened in such in such a like convenient way that there had to be some early navigation plans, for this. So anyways, so they they hold the data set, which means they can put the records in, they can take them out, just saying. For mild to moderate symptoms of COVID-19, costs can range between 400 to 3,500. Now, maybe someone could explain this to me, and I don't mean that passively. I I don't I thought maybe it's a no. The tests are supposedly.
Oh, we're being interrupted by my dog. Sorry about that. Can you hear them
Geez,
barking?
go right ahead.
I apologize, guys. It's one of those days. It must be like,
Yeah,
I don't know, is the moon coming full or something?
yeah. Get alert. I
they're
want
they're letting me know that they don't approve of all this.
that's a scary bark. Like that's a good guard dog.
Yeah, she's definitely she's probably barking at a squirrel right now though.
Okay.
All right, let's
So
get back into it. Sorry about that.
yeah, I guess it's the tests that are free, but there's an interesting part of a stipulation in various Connecticut contracts that say vendors testing for COVID are I don't even think it said strongly requested. I said encouraged to avoid charging patients for testing. It didn't say required, you know? So there's, so part of treatment is being tested over, so there's be some connection to tests being costing money in all parts. So, but that's a lot of money. And 400 to 3,500, I think I know what price, which way it's going to be leaning. And that's a lot of money to bill a state for treatment. For one patient, that's a lot. And then and taxpayers pay for that. The feds pay for that. The funding that the state needs, that gets budgeted in. People get told, the feds get told, we get our new taxes, and freaking, and
You
it's
know, just not to interrupt you again, but when you bringing up these
true.
things, and I'm like, so yesterday I read an article that Connecticut's property taxes compared to New York and Massachusetts, Connecticut has had the high, most increase in property tax. Like we have not caught a break at all. Yet our property has depreciated, but we're paying higher taxes, property taxes than our neighbors in New York and our neighbors in Massachusetts. And one thing about Connecticut is there's no cap on it. There's no, it's like they could do all these things, and then we, the people who have like middle class people who have a house, that you're screwed. And some people, their attitude today is like, oh, you're a landowner, like you're evil. It's like, what? I mean, this is the attitude of many. It's shocking.
People either hate Connecticut or have moved out. That's not fair. Like, why? There's got to be some fundamental problem that has advanced in severity over time, and there are just very common sense things that are problems here. So, that being said, but her severe symptom, to jump right back in,
Yeah.
so for severe symptoms, 9,000 to 20,000 or upwards of 55,000. That's a lot of money for one patient. Okay, next picture. Yeah,
Wow. Insane. So what we got here? Coronavirus disease 2019.
Look, look who's oh my God, favorites. Trinity Health. They're like they do a St. Francis. I think it's a hospital for special care. They are affiliated big hospitals, big state hospitals, and Care Carebridge is up in those too. Lot of problems in state hospitals. Lot of problems. Yukon Health Center, hundreds of, I think it's like 400 million now that Yukon Health Center has received this year for higher education operating expenses. And
Oh man, when you
the amount that has gone to, and you can look this up in open checkbook, the amount that has gone to client general services, shocking, terrible, like a, a tenth, not even. So Carebridge is up in this too. This hospital, this group of hospitals, another conflict of interest because Lamont is involved in the setting of the looking at the financials. Ah,
no, so our governor, whose wife, who made the article that I had read that wrote about the FOIA, where Annie Huntress Lamont, she's all up in the governor's business, and this FOIA totally exposed that, and it's a very interesting read. I forget the author's, the writer's name, but I do have a link to it. I just posted it earlier today, and if somebody wants, I can put that in the comments so you can go and check out this article yourself. But the amount of money that she is making in the medical industry is appalling and shocking at the same time, especially with what we're going through and what the policies and all that you're exposing right here just right now is disturbing, to say the least. How she is profiting and controlling the data of information.
everything,
I just am
everything.
stunned. I'm stunned. I'm absolutely stunned by that. Crazy.
So it's very intense. I totally, and I'm so sorry about this, but the picture we are on now,
Yeah.
can you go back to, because there was just a comment I put on, where we were looking at all the little squares of all the subsidiaries.
Little subsidiaries where the Cambridge, where they got the picture of the older
The,
woman with the nurse. It looks so good.
the helpfulness of the to
Yes, I
the
see a comment here. So
yeah,
you want me to click on that? Ooh,
so,
antitrust.
yeah. So there are laws that they are breaking. This is not just like, it's not just like rude, you know. Like, there's really federal laws in place. So in 1914, the as part of the antitrust statutes, the Clayton Act was established, and they dealt with things like money and it's let me just money and monopolies and unethical businesses and price fixing. So this was like their job to say this is why this is the Clayton Act. So it prohibits corporate and other mergers of acquisition of stock or assets of competing companies where the effect of such action may be substantially to lessen competition or tend to create a monopoly. Think about Anne's Anne Lamont's medical presence, let alone Carebridge, right? Think about how vast her with Oak Healthcare and Medicare and all these different there's so many parts she oversees. Biopharmaceuticals, huge.
Biopharmaceuticals. Do you know what that? Biopharmaceuticals. Does that
So
connect with biologics?
it all does. It all connects. And if it's bad, it's related to them, I swear. So the Clayton Act said you couldn't do it, essentially. You couldn't do what Anne Lamott does. It's just, and they don't give enough of their financial, like, let me see the receipts for COVID. Let me see, should be parts of this should be parts of the financials should be part of it. We should at least be asking to see more about where did the money go. We have a right to that. You can't just say, oh, we felt it best to how did they call it, blackout or redact this information. That's not fair. You can't just say that.
It makes me crazy, though, the whole idea of, oh, we have to redact this information because of you're hiding something. That's really what it comes down to. You're hiding something if you need to redact info. Oh, it's for security. Oh, it's for this. Oh, it's for privacy. But how come our privacy never counts?
Yeah, I would like an outside party to be involved in the regulation of this, but they do it all. So Clayton Act violation. Moving right along. So past the picture, we were just on that purple, website, Trinity Health Carebridge.
Yeah, let me just get that out of there. Okay, so let me get caught back up. So the next picture, right? Dispatch Health.
Yeah.
135.8 million. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, so she, as we know, she has a lot of money. And so Dispatch Health, another fabulous, helpful new startup involving Anne Lamott, as if we needed another one of those.
How many startups does...
I don't even know. Dozens, maybe more. Dozens. And some of them are older, like they were passed on to her, because all the people who were still involved, who are retired or who get some sort of, like Jack Rubenstein, CT, LLC. So they get passed on to the bigwigs. But a lot of these are new. So Anne Lamott, her net worth was 200 million, 300 million in like 2006, I think it was. What do you think it is now? And so, she just has all these, and she takes over Oak Healthcare and FinTech in 2014. And then, typically it takes time to build up lots of monies, right? But honest bankers, because there are honest investors who work hard to invest in beautiful things. They are in the minority, okay? But so she goes in 2015, she has 500 million for her new, maybe there were just, no, there weren't, because when you look at the SEC documents, sorry to go in a tangent, but this is important. When you go into SEC fund and transaction, because all these purchases are logged, sometimes they get to disclose their names, but they're all there. And so you'll look on her transaction with her and Andrew and Patricia Kemp, and it'll say for the $800 million one, the $500 million one, And the $600 million one, it tells you on the bottom right, little baby print in a box, how many investors. It'll say, I think the most I've ever seen was 23. But these one had two, one had one, and I think the other maybe had 8. Again, I've been reading so much. There's so much new to talk about. But that's not very many investors to have $500 million. So she just had hundreds of millions, all of them in her first year. And so they're getting that money, and it's like they transfer it to whatever the subsidiaries are. Some of definitely goes offshore. We've seen it, Cayman Islands attached to her name. But if there's 3 people on that SEC transaction, money is theirs.
They just get away with this. So some folks will say, well, they're, they did some stuff with their money, but the point is,
yeah, this is it. This is it.
They're hijacking it. It's covered up, so it's like so sneaky. So oh no, it's like the same thing with like the nursing homes. It's like where they don't have the money for the PPE, or they're spending all the money. They're spending money on PPE, but yet the state still is lacking in the ability to give everybody PPE. So you tell me, guys, right? Obviously
spending money on PPE.
Yeah, I know. Obviously. Yeah, sorry. So let's get into this.
So Dispatch Health and this is the last thing I'll say, and Alta Partners. So Series C round was led by Optum Ventures, now directed to Anne Lamott. Alta Partners, also connected to Anne Lamott. And Right and Concord, we see here Alta Partners. And yes, so Optum will come later. We'll talk about it again. And as you can see on the third picture there, Medicare, Medicaid. It's like for Dispatch Health. They're all linked to Medicare and Medicaid. I don't
Investments. They invest in Dispatch Health plans to use funds to increase services into new existing. Oh my God.
Not fair. And someone should be looking into it at least, but they're all in on it. So next picture.
Oh, there she is. Komodo. Oh, we were talking about them a while back.
Yes. So this is a picture that I had posted before, talking about Komodo Health and Kyra Farm. I'm going to say Kyra for the purposes of the rest of this video, because saying Kyra Farm, because I'm going to say it a lot in the next pictures, so it's a long thing to say. So if you hear me say it, that's what it means. So these 2 companies are super involved in COVID, all since the months leading up to January, or months leading up before even the first reports of COVID in America, So Komodo Health, which we're not really going to talk too much about, but you see the picture in the middle, and I'm sorry, I'll just read it to you because I know that it's hard to see. Anne Lamont's Oak Healthcare and FinTech has been a major investor in Komodo Health. So she's making a lot of money off that company, and that company is going and will be taking a larger role in COVID in Connecticut.
And what could that be from all of their... what could they just interject in there?
You don't have to read this because we're going to go into it. The Jews here.
Let me see that. But like, just to bring to the point to folks watching what we're talking about, like when Anne Lamont has these companies that she is a major investor in, and they have a major role in the COVID and how we're handling it, treating it. So we could talk about the masks and the testing and all of these entities and supplies that she will benefit and profit off of, her companies that are supplying the state with this stuff while they're building directly. So, and then some folks will just say, well, we got to have our healthcare stuff and somebody's got to do it. But don't you see the conflict of interest? Don't you understand how bad and egregious this is, and the fact that they're ripping us off blind and pumping up the numbers in every which way, from the money to the cases to the everything? It's nuts. Wow. Sorry.
No, please. I need the back and forth. I can't be talking all the time. So she's making good money, obviously, always. So next picture, please.
Aha, wow, we got a lot going on in this. Lots of information here.
So I will read this, okay? So February 26th, 2019. This is Kyra Farm Therapeutics. It is a clinical stage. So there, I'll say this quickly, there are different stages of becoming a pharmaceutical company. So you gotta go to the first round to the FDA. You gotta have successful trials with rats. You gotta go to the second, third, and we know the FDA is not the cleanest, ship in the. But anyways, so there's a process that has to happen with pharmaceutical companies getting their license, and any drug they put out. It's a lot harder for honest drugs to get cleared, but the richies, it's pretty easy for them. So a clinical stage pharmaceutical company means they're in the beginning. They're just getting started. They're new,
Mm-hmm.
and so they are involved in treating cancer patients, and we know how much cancer is in the world now. They're new. They have one new drug. 1 week prior, yeah, and what? They're treating COVID patients. Their new company. Sorry.
Okay, so a new company who they started. It's what am I confused here? The February 26, 2019. This comes off on the news. So that's when they're becoming this pharmaceutical
stage. Yeah,
they're in the. So now the one drug, this brand new company, comes out of nowhere last year. Now their drug is the drug that they're using. They want to use to treat COVID. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes. Well, they're one of the. So this, and they didn't start. I think it's been 2 years. I hate not knowing exact facts, but I read so much. I think it's been a couple years since.
But they're brand new.
They're new.
They're
new. They do cancer drugs for severe cases of stages of cancer. Like if you're late stage, they have your type of drug. Now this drug is being tested in Israel, which to treat COVID patients. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to freaking a newish company and a new drug for cancer patients.
For COVID.
Yeah. I would want more clinical trials, but that's just me. So 1 week prior to Kyra Farm's February press public announcement, so February 26th, Kyra Farm announced to they announced, to the public, here we come with this new drug. Because they have to, legally, they have to tell the public. And that's the picture all the way on the left. 1 week prior to Kyra's February press announcement, the founder, the CEO, and CFO, he was named CFO 7 days later, soon to be senior VP, bought up a lot of Kyra Farm stock. So you can't do that because they knew before anyone else did that the FDA was going to approve, because they know everything before the public does. And you can see here, well, you probably can't see because it's so tiny, but do you see how all these green boxes in the middle?
Yep.
So someone bought, well, it says right here who bought. Sharon Satcham, or forgive me for saying that incorrectly, founder. Okay. Michael Kaufman, CEO. Okay. And then I don't know, I may have cut the senior VP off because I can only fit so much. All those greens mean they bought it.
It just makes me crazy how this
Do you
system
see the
works.
date? Or just last thing I'll say, the date is, I don't know why mine's are all, oh, right, to February 19th. So press announcement, February 26th. All these purchases, a lot of stock money bought 1 week before.
And what's this over here? The therapeutics with the red and the next one next to that.
So you see where it says insider trading at the, are you still
Yes, I see that. Insider trading.
Yeah. Wait, but that's, no, I want to clarify. It sounds weird, but insider trading is not, if you follow the law, it's not illegal. They call it, that's kind of a terrible name to just blanket all of it. But if you work for a company, you're gonna know. If you're a broker, you manage multiple companies, especially if you're a CEO, or you probably do less work as a CEO, but you used to do a lot of work. And they're gonna know. Of course, you're allowed to purchase your own stock. You are, but you have to do it in the way where you have to follow SEC and federal law. You have to, if you're going to buy stock, or if you're going to profit from your stock options, you cannot buy the stock. You cannot act on an early announcement that will affect stock prices, which this did. And so when they're buying up a lot of stock a week before, because they knew that FDA approval was coming, which they knew, obviously, would make the stock shoot through the roof. And they would get rich because they bought a F-load of this new company's stock. So there aren't a ton of investors yet anyways, because it's a new company. They made a lot of money. Insider trading.
Wow. Pretty crazy.
By definition, insider trading is not illegal. If you're a broker, you trade stock and you're a part of a company, so you are an insider. But you have to follow the law. So.
Wow. Very interesting stuff. It's pretty scary.
To Anne Lamott. Yeah. So you can do next picture.
All right, here we go. Oh, some pretty ribbons.
Beautiful, beautiful cancer ribbons. You know, these people exploit cancer. They exploit everything.
I just hate the way that there is a profit to be made by these companies off of other people's suffering and ill health. I think that to me is shocking, and then I think it incentivizes these companies, especially if they get away with it like they are, to be shysters, to like, it's not about health.
Yeah. And it's like, why do we have so much cancer if there's so many magical cancer drugs? You know? And I think that there are bad things happening with these companies. And our governors,
Our governor's married to the woman who's like the queen. I mean, when I first read about Annie Huntress Lamont, and
I love calling her that.
I do too. At first, I thought when you said Annie Huntress Lamont, I'm like, oh, like that's like I wasn't thinking that's her actual name.
I was surprised, and then I wasn't. Like, because she's a bad bitch. She's
She
scary.
is,
So it would be that.
and I'm blown away by that name, and just the fact that I was thinking like she's a headhunter. Here she is. When I first read about Annie Huntress Lamont, and it said that she was the top female venture capitalist there is. She is she even was rated as she had the Midas touch. I want to say Forbes rated her that she has the Midas touch. I'm like, sure she does. Well, she got the Midas touch, but the people of Connecticut are getting a tax touch from all her Midas touching.
No, it's
unbelievable. So tell me about this stuff we're looking at.
So it's so mind blowing, It's the belly of the beast. Miss Midas touch is in the belly of it. She's here. Makes sense that there would be this tyrannical financial system.
Yeah.
Cayman Islands. That's all you gotta money. If her money is in the Cayman Islands, what do we know about that? Terrible.
That alone yeah. Right there, that she has money, and you've shown this just perfectly. So folks out there that are just tuning in, go follow Victoria and check it out. But she showed this, that it went from the state of Connecticut and went to the Cayman Islands. People can sit there and they can excuse a lot of stuff, and we can go back and forth and all this stuff to, it's okay that they're making hand over fist of money because they're supplying supplies to the state of Connecticut to help people with COVID, right? But there's no way that you can ever justify taking money from state taxpayers and putting that money into the Cayman Islands where we saw the trail. That is just outrageous.
Yes, because they could do that if Connecticut was receiving any even form of profit. We do not. That's taxpayer money. We should be, according to the books, the outflow, billions. We have billions. We had 150 billion in outflow last year. So why are our taxes gargantuan? Because that money, the money we pay these people to invest, becomes their private investment. Moving on. So sorry, I always get so sidetracked because they just.
So here, Anna, we're looking at this picture here, and for folks who just turned in, and we've been seeing this, the Expovio as a therapeutic from this company that's very new, who mostly they do cancer drugs, and now this originally this Expovio drug, was this originally for cancer, and now they're saying it works for COVID? According to who?
Like, they're testing it
Oh, they're testing
in
it.
Israel.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, got
Yeah,
confused there. So they're
yeah.
testing this drug in Israel for use in COVID, and just the connection also with Israel. Okay, let's just look at Annie Lamont's
Yeah.
reopen Connecticut team with Ezekiel and Emmanuel, who said that when you're 75, you got like, well, you gotta waste no energy on your ass. You done. You cook like a book.
Yeah.
But
So quick too.
this is insane. I
Yeah.
just and just to let folks know about this. So Craig Fishbein, Representative Craig Fishbein, has filed a Freedom of Information Act request to the Governor Lamont and his team of wealthy billionaire class business types that are on his team operating and deciding the fate of our state of Connecticut behind closed doors. With all of these things that you're bringing up, Victoria, are just these things that we're seeing here. Investigations need to be had. So Victoria has pulled up a lot of evidence that needs to be delved into and investigated, because these are very shocking things we're looking at here that needs explanation by our governor, who's operating in secret, and he loves to operate in secret. They like it. This is like they want this to be like the new normal. They get away with it by putting it into this public private partnership. And who pays the price at the end of the day? Who is paying the ultimate price at the end of the day from these crazy mandates to be we're living like we're living under a king.
Yes.
So this is what kings do.
I think it's funny how on all his orders it says by his excellence.
Yes.
It's like, bro, get over yourself. Okay?
By his excellence.
Fundamental orders are done. Like, oh, he's such an ass. So yes. So there was another FDA approval in July of, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I know we have to move along. So just like the February one, the FDA granted accelerated approval for this Expovio drug, who in February was just granted the allowed presence to be there. And why would you need to accelerate a cancer drug? There are dozens of cancer drugs on the market. What? This one was so magical that it actually, no. This drug has a 20 to 30% efficacy rate. A lot of side effects. Moving right along.
Wow.
Yeah. What a-holes,
Wow, so here we're looking at FDA approves Expovio combo for heavily treated, what is RRMM patients?
So RRRM is, you know what? I haven't read into that, but I assume it's severe, like they are either having severe reactions to late stage cancer, or they are dying.
Okay, so they're saying that their drug is going to help these patients.
Severe cancer. That's what it was for. Severe cases of cancer. And then this is just a picture of what the FDA, what accelerated approval is, like who you are, why you need to be a part of it. I won't go into it, but please do. It's on the FDA website.
Yeah, and it is interesting. I recommend people to look into how they get fast track approval for things like cancer drugs. Especially if they'll put in like death or whatever, so they'll get this faster. Now, some people will say, well, that's good because you want it fast and furious. But guys, we have to also understand that you can't just you fast approval, you sidestep things and whatnot. There's mistakes and everything else that can be had in that. It's never really a good idea and never really benefits the way they say that it could.
And why do you need it? There's already a dozen of those already.
Yeah, because
Whatever.
it's one of the fastest ways to get your drug approved is to say that it's cancer related. And then you can
Yeah.
use it for off-label
Whatever.
usages. Yeah. So the off-label usage with this thing. Wait a minute.
And you become a saint because you put out a cancer. You put out.
So if
So,
this drug that's being
oh, sorry.
tested right now in Israel, this Expovio drug, being tested in Israel for a COVID treatment, it's a very serious drug that was fast-tracked.
Yes, and I'm going to show you those specs. I think it's like 2 or 3 pictures. But this next picture is another press release. Do you see it? So if you go to the next picture where it says Kyra Farm.
Yep. Let me get that up there for these guys.
Yes.
I see it.
So February 19, 2020. Okay. Kyra Farm gets another. So their accelerated approval request for this magical Expovio granted on this is when they're telling the public, February 19th. What do you know?
Wow.
Right in the middle there, all these beautiful green boxes. This is all the stock. The date it all gets bought, February 7th, insider trading.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
They don't even care. They don't even care.
Look again. Look at this real quick. This is a CFO, the CEO, the founder. Okay? It's just like, this is the insider.
Wow.
You can't get more insider trading-ish than this. So, yeah. And this is important because you see the comments?
Yep, let me get to the comments. I got it.
I won't explain all of them, but remember how I mentioned
BlackRock? Oh my gosh, a shudder goes up my spine every time I think of the name BlackRock.
And look who's managing the money writing securities for Kyra Farm now. If you click on that first comment.
I see this. Let's see here. Kyra Farm. So I'm looking at the BlackRock.
You see the little it's like a yellow and blue. Yeah. So at the bottom there are 2 light blue rectangles that says, one of them is underlined, it says BlackRock.
Mm-hmm.
Below that it says Kyra Farm Therapeutics. So these 2 are involved in money trading, they will have access to each other's financial freedoms.
That's terrifying. Okay,
terrifying.
So BlackRock, you guys, you watching? Go check out this company because they're now in charge of our freaking treasury, okay?
They're in charge of a lot of. So if you go to the next comment below that, there's
another comment. Let me just block out of here. Just give me a second.
Sorry.
That's okay. You've been busy.
2.
Okay, here we go. All right, let's pull this up. What are we looking at here?
So you see it's a open checkbook and then an SEC purchase.
Yeah, oh boy.
So BlackRock is all over Connecticut. Been here a long time. And they're now, this is just to show you that BlackRock Financial Management is actively present in Connecticut and are being paid. Do you see the open checkbook?
Yep.
Where it says BlackRock Financial Management? So, yeah. And so we pay them, unfortunately. And so next comment below that.
All right.
Sorry, I know.
No, that's okay. We'll go right up in there and get it. Okay. Bear with me, guys. I got a lot going on my screen here. Here we are. Oh, boy. What are we looking at here?
This is, so again, the open checkbook where it says BlackRock Financial Management, the one of the SEC transactions. I can't believe I talk about this stuff. This is so bananas. So all the way on the left, it says reporting owner address for, this is a security written or a stock transaction involving 100 Bellevue, oh man, I can't even see that. Bellevue Parkway in Wilmington, Delaware, none other than that. And you go to Google, plug the address in there. That is BlackRock Investments. And then you go to BlackRock Investments in Concord, gives you an address, a business address. It's in this case in a red rectangle. Do you see that?
Yep. 44 September Place.
And then you go above, nice house in Fairfield. So these are equity purchases that the state, real estate, make phenomenal amounts of money in real estate.
So
illegal.
They just buy this house. So
BlackRock technically bought it for them.
So they bought it, and now they're using it. Somebody was saying, well, these are just, anybody could have their business run out of their home. That's no big thing.
No, but if of course it's not. That's a great point. Having an LLC out of your house isn't illegal. Having a couple isn't illegal. When the state is doing transactions with you, and because this state, this company has been paid $10 million in recent years, and they're buying things like, and we pay BlackRock, and they're buying things like 44 September Place.
And saying that's
a company.
Saying
its own standalone company, saying it is BlackRock Investments LLC. That is not BlackRock Investments. That is not the address of the massive financial corporation in New York. It's a house that is getting a house out of us.
So you guys, you see how she connected the slide? See the connection here, and you follow the money with the open checkbook and following what they're doing and where they're putting it. It's pretty insane. Pretty insane.
Yeah. So there's one more. I won't go to the next comment, but that one's interesting too. If people want to go to my Facebook page and check it out, but there's just so much connected. And yeah, so next picture after the one we were just on, not the comment, but this one is we're
still a Cairo Pearl. This looks similar, but it's different, correct? July 3rd, 2019?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yes. And this is another press release so they report every stage to the public. They transact before they do that, but they do that. And so this is the final approval of the drug on July 3rd. Also on July 3rd, the founder bought, now this is legal, buying, technically it wouldn't be legal if she bought all this like at 8 a.m. and the public was told at 3 p.m. But the same day as the press release, she bought a lot of her own stock. So, yeah, they're just making so, and these are the companies involved with Anne Lamott.
It's very. Here's the thing: if you're the governor of Connecticut and your wife is a venture capitalist profiting off of major all doings in the state, especially when it comes to health, that's her thing. And as Lamont has come into office, we've had him for a couple of years. God help us through the next couple of years. But his administration is wanting to do some heavy duty things to change the landscape of Connecticut in medical stuff, from stripping people of their, inalienable right to religious and conscient, objection to vaccination, which to some people, they don't care about that. They even think, oh, that's no big deal. That's a big freaking deal when the state can tell you what to do with your body, and your wife is profiting off of drugs and therapies, and she's into the biology medicine, the biologics. That's even more scary. She is making hand over fist on your health, and your governor is making mandates. And guys, just be prepared. There is talk about mandatory flu shots and COVID shots for adults. And then you're following the money with this lady, and it's got to really be a wake-up call. Go take a look at what she's doing and all the companies that she's associated with. It's absolutely disturbing. And how do we, the citizens of Connecticut, even tolerate this? How did we, the citizens, tolerate it?
A lot of us don't know it's like this bad. Like a lot of people who look into the government don't know it's this bad, and so that's why if I knew an American had all this information and didn't, at least try, I would be pissed. So yeah, but so I think part of the journey is people hearing it and then talking about ideas of what to do, because I don't freaking know what to do.
I know, so this is where we as a community of people need to rally around together, talk about these things openly, go do some digging yourself too, go dig right in, start to look. This is very disturbing about the Expovio drug that she's got an active hand in profiting off of. Her companies, the way that she's all over this, and she's the one that is she's the governor. He's just there as the front guy. And the state still doesn't have enough PPE. So there you go with that one. The state, they were just talking about this yesterday. The state still doesn't have enough PPE, yet they're saying they're spending millions and millions and millions of dollars on medical supplies, and the state still doesn't have proper PPE. And then Lamont is telling nursing homes, which his wife does not like nursing homes. I mean, it's just unbelievable that she's quoted in March 2019 saying that they should have less people in nursing homes. And then as we come into March 2020, and all of a sudden, it's slippery and tricky too. Cuomo, he's being looked at, not officially. We hope this happens, but we know that Cuomo made an executive order. We know Murphy made an executive order, but Lamont, Annie, she's too smart for that. She's too smart for that.
This is not a one state network.
No, it's not. This is a systemic issue within our country. We are being robbed blind. We are being enslaved by draconian, tyrannical laws that are just outrageous, from the overtaxation of the people, which is outrageous because that's a financial hardship. That becomes a financial servitude when our state is bilking the taxpayers to this extent. Yeah, they're buying some PPE. Yeah, they're getting some drugs that they're feeding to people. But they're taking in tons and tons and tons of money. Because I'm tired of people coming up with that argument. Oh, well, they have to spend money to take care of the state and blah blah blah. And what do you expect? Really?
Just funny.
It doesn't. When I see the headlines in the newspaper and the state still doesn't have PPE, and I don't think our governor did that, but he was, New York. He not only put the people in nursing homes where the highest death rate was.
Oh,
Connecticut also high death rate.
They work together.
Yeah, they do. They totally do. They work together, and I bet it's Annie. Except Cuomo went and he made an executive order. Lamont didn't do that. But Connecticut still has huge death rates in Connecticut. Some of the highest death rates in general out of Connecticut. So all this bragging about how we've done so well with our social distancing. That's a load of bullshit, okay? He's done so well with our social distancing. There's no scientific proof that wrapping people up in a face mask and telling them to stand 6 feet away from each other has done anything to stop a virus. If you believe that, I've got a bridge to sell you into Idiotville. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's like that's how good their websites are.
I know it.
That's
People
so
believe
good.
this. They
That's how
believe it.
much they control the media.
That's
Like,
exactly it.
it's like the idea that something so, yeah, masks are necessary, I believe, for healthcare workers. Of course they protect, but to the general public, I mean, general public every day, it's not safe. Nurses don't wear their masks. I mean, pre-COVIDian era, which someone quoted that. I thought that was funny. Nurses didn't wear masks every single day when they
No.
left work. You know, they took
No.
them off, in their car, and they didn't, you know.
Well, with the mask, you have to change the mask. You wear one of those surgical masks. You don't hang it dangling on your car or smoking your cigarette or talking to your friend. They change the mask. There's this nurse, that excellent woman. You should go check her out, Erin Marie. She did it. She totally blew the whistle on Cuomo and Elmhurst Hospital. She did a documentary. Amazing woman. But she was talking about how they have the dirty nurse, they have the bad nurse, they have, like, not the bad nurse, but they have the dirty nurse. So it's just like, it's absolutely, totally, totally, totally crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
I just had to get some water. So, yeah, wild. So this next picture, if you'd like to go to it, looks like kind of a, SEC-ish.
Yep, I see it.
And so remember that picture? Remember when we were talking about 666? Oh, it's right here. Remember that address of those sketchy companies that we talked about in another post in another week?
Mm-hmm.
So 19 days after which is legal, 19 days after so we saw in the last picture, the FDA granted approval to Exposio Accelerate. It had been fast tracked, okay, still legal, and so 19 days after the FDA approved it, those Connecticut companies we were talking about bought a lot of Chirofarm.
Wow.
Lot. And you see right here on the right, this is just, again, I can't fit a ton into a screenshot. So this is just two of the companies, the millions, quite a few $1 million of stock that they purchased. And they're in Connecticut and Delaware, technically. So
Connecticut and Delaware, how convenient, as they bilk us blind and they make money off of the people suffering, and then they kill our businesses while we're dealing with this virus, and they get to profit off of the drugs that they're experimenting on to treat you with, that they fast tracked for killer cancer diseases. Well, killer cancer.
And one more thing I'll say about that, technically Anne Lamott didn't enact her contract with Chirofarm until 2020. But if in July of last year, these Connecticut companies were subsidiary companies which have been involved with her I've shown that in other posts. So she already knew about the money in July of last year, about all their money. You think a freaking venture, Miss Midas Touch, is gonna get involved with a company that she doesn't already know how the plan's going to go?
Well, there's an interesting quote too. Now let's, people say, "Oh, conspiracy. Oh, you're a conspiracy." You know something? That's just ridiculous. So, Tony, especially when you have proof that it's true. So, Anthony
Yeah.
Fauci in 2017, there is a video of him talking about a surprise virus that's going to hit Trump's administration. The fact that doesn't, he's on video saying it. I'm not making it up. In
Not at all.
2017, he said that. And then when you see just what Annie Huntress Lamont, Miss Midas Touch, she was labeled like the venture capitalist, the female venture capitalist, whatever thing she touches turns to gold. It's very interesting, the timeline that you're exposing here. Very, very interesting. Draw your own conclusions. Take a look at it. Go look for yourself. Draw your own conclusions.
You go to Concord. You go to sec.report. You can type in any name, any company, and you'll get their money. Everything you gotta have the name of the shell. You gotta have the name of you go into sec.report, the Securities and Exchange Commission website. The Edgar website has all the freaking money. You type in Lamont and Huntress. Or no, type in Lamont and. You're going to do the first names second. You find it all yourself. Next picture.
Wow. It's just, they don't even care, I think. I think one of the reasons is that and I hate to say this, but I think many, as a country, maybe we've been too comfortable and we've let our leaders get away with this egregious financial subjugation of the people through taxation like this, and then stealing our money and writing laws that benefit them and hurt the people. That's what they're doing. They're with the Constitution. We're not even living under a constitutional republic right now. What we're living under is a freaking oligarchy.
We still live under the fundamental orders.
Yeah.
Yes, Connecticut refused, and I won't go in. Connecticut refused to adopt the new Constitution. Took them 30 years. It was signed in 1776, if I got that wrong, and Connecticut adopted it in 1818. So
in 1818, you guys hear that? Connecticut is behind the mark.
They were categorized scheming as then, because the federal orders was considered by the non-schemers scheming. and so we've never left the fundamental orders. So all these laws, the Constitution you see in these beautiful books and my pocket Constitution, we don't live by those rules.
No, we're not. We're not living by those rules right now, guys. So it really, it's been, I feel like we've been like frogs in this pot of water, and it's been boiling. And now it's like with COVID, all of it, like 2020, right? It's so interesting how the synchronicities work.
Yeah.
Hindsight is 2020, right? So here we are with this perfect 2020 vision now, where we see it all revealed.
That just blew my mind. Hindsight 2020, that connection. That was good. Wow. Yeah. I never thought of that.
Yeah, it's a crazy year. I got to stay positive, or at least try to maintain an element of hope, because when I just get up every day and I read about what's happening in the world, and I read CNN talking about how masks are...
CNN.
Right? No, I don't normally read CNN, but somebody I know was posting about how important masks are. And look, CNN they're writing about a study, so I click on the link that says study, and I gotta click once, I click again. Finally get to the study, and it's not a study. It's an analysis of models. What are models? Go ask yourself that. That's not the gold standard of science, okay? I know I'm not a scientist, but I like to read science, so I can have an opinion. Yeah. Models are not randomized controlled studies, guys. Yeah. They're guessing and then telling you that masks are stopping the spread of COVID. That's horse shit.
Yes. Now, if a reputable medical journal, peer-reviewed journal, CNN, if you have a peer-reviewed journal that shows me I will consider it. And
Yes.
I really will think about what I have done so far. But they're not researched science. So, this next picture is that same. It's the we just went over it. It's these Connecticut. I don't know if you remember, but they had the little red arrows next to them. We talked about 666 address.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And this is that. This is these are the companies that bought Kyra Farm 19 days. Just it's convenient, why is Connecticut companies buying stock of a new company that has had no success with that? And soon they'll be in Connecticut, all over Connecticut. So, yeah. So, this is another company which we really don't have time to get into, but people should go to my post. And Kyra Farm, they entered royalty agreement with Healthcare Royalty Partners, which deals in like debt.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
There's a lot of those companies.
A debt company, guys, because guess what? Debt capital is a thing. Go look it up.
Huge.
Debt capital. That's a big thing. These bankers, they love that debt capital. They talk about that debt capital. That's what the tolls is all about. That's how tolls would be built if they ever succeed. That's how they'll be built. Debt capital. Debt companies. This is amazing.
They're going to succeed. Yes, they are. So, and do you see right here where it says Healthcare Royalty Partners? It's the right picture, and it's got a red arrow.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, so look at all these Delaware accounts. Healthcare Royalty Partners, Healthcare Royalty Partners. Do you see that list? Those are all, it's all subsidiaries that we will never, all this money we'll never know anything about. All in Delaware. That's how you know. They like started the Delaware game, So
when money, let me just clarify this for people watching. So when money from the Connecticut taxpayers is spent on these medical supplies and medicines, and then all these companies are playing these games, that money is going into, more of the money is going into pockets than it's going in anything for you.
Yes. And it's not always, I'll just say this quick, not always, I know we're running so long, but there's so much to talk about.
I
know. It's not always, there could be private investors, but it's like pay to play. If you want to invest in this startup biotech, aka private equity financial real estate investment, and you want access to tax breaks, we'll let you participate in the sorry I'm doing sorry and you have to donate $25,000 to this company, to X house, to X company. Then these people get a 25% discount on their tax rate. Everything.
What? Wait, where's the discount for us? Where is the discount for the people? We don't get anything, but I'm really concerned right now with the reality of the COVID tax man. Because all this stuff, this is just crazy. It's crazy,
right?
So what are we looking at here?
So Healthcare Royalty Partners is, and I'll just fly through this. So the next picture after that, do you see where it says, I've circled HCR in the middle, little box.
Yep.
And on the left there are owners. That's a Healthcare Royalty Partners, SEC document, which uploads the identifiers. And you see where I have that light rectangle where it says ownership acquisition statement.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so interesting that so a new owner became involved in 2019, same time as Healthcare Royalty Partners entered a royalty agreement. And look at the address for Healthcare Royal. HCR is a way to little baby hide who Healthcare Royalty Partners really is. HCR, Healthcare Royalty Partners. Look at the address. They're in Stamford. Now, if you go to Concord and you type in HCR LLC, it brings you to 57 Carriage Drive in Durham. Do you see that little red arrow? So look at the bottom there where I've underlined Rockfall Co. LLC.
Yep.
So next picture, and that will connect it.
Yep, we got it. Oh.
Yes.
There's a rockfall. $669,550.
Yeah, that's a real estate investment. So it's just like, these are things. It wouldn't be illegal to have homes running out, LLCs out of your home. But if you're getting, just think common sense. If you're getting $11 million for 600 medical masks and you have 3 LLCs running out of your house, that can't sound normal to people. Someone said, this guy Nick, great guy, he said that's $18,000 per mask. Why would the state be giving that
and
much
that's
money?
where it is, guys, because you'll get the criticism that, oh, you guys are just picking on the state and blah blah blah, and these are good companies and blah, they're buying these things and they're doing this and they're doing that. It's a cover up. It's a fraud for the amount of money that they're using and what they're doing. And here's the state getting millions and millions of dollars in federal aid for COVID, and we don't have the PPE, guys. Think on that one for a second.
So next picture. Do you see that beautiful little pool?
Oh, that looks lovely.
Gorgeous. So these are and then I'll move on, but these are the types of companies involved with Kyra Farms. So you see that, and this was on February 14th, like a week after the FDA announcement. Ridgeback Capital Investments is transacting with Kyra Farm Therapeutics. And the business address for Ridgeback Capital Investments, 30 Star Island, Miami Beach, Florida. Look at the address for beautiful 30 Star Island Drive. Gorgeous. $38 million.
Wow.
That property cost. Then you go to Concord, type in Ridgeback LLC. Yeah, it's right. It's a Connecticut company, man. Even if it doesn't have the 30 Star Island address, of course it wouldn't. It's here. It's totally, that company is Ridgeback LLC in Connecticut is directly profiting from that 30 Star Island investment. Next picture. We're almost done, and we can stop. Oh, this is the last one.
This one, it's got a bunch of pills. Coronavirus drug to be tested on patients in Israel. Okay.
I just wanted to scare everybody at the end with all these pills, So, look at all these purchases going on. Okay, the picture on the left that also looks SEC-ish.
Yes.
Look at all these. Now, these are all legal. This is all public. You know, Expovio is out. Technically, nothing's illegal here, but look at that are ongoing. Do you see these? Now, these are directly. We just looked at that picture, how those Connecticut companies, 19 days after the announcement, were these are those companies. A lot of them, I haven't checked every single one, but remember there was the acquisition of ownership.
Mm-hmm.
So all these Kyra Farm stocks, they're going to those Connecticut, all these Connecticut, Delaware and corporations, and we will never see these profits again. Okay, so lot of being bought, and these date back a little. Do you see those? The dates, the most recent one was Tuesday.
Yeah.
And so in the middle here, this is just a little update. About a couple months ago, Expovio is now being tested for coronavirus patients in Israel. And Mr. Reopen CT Advisory Board member, Dr. Ezekiel, not only does he has family there, and I don't know how strong his ties are in Israel, but he's a major player. He's a cancer doctor, major player in the cancer world. Interesting connection. And the last picture on the right here is just another. This is Lehigh Valley Health Network is reporting on Expovio and Kyra Farm Therapeutics. It's just another hospital network reporting facts to the, not facts, reporting whatever they want to report to the public, draw you in, tell you about these things so you buy the stock. And this comment, which we don't have to go over, is just a recap of that former post I did about Dr. Ezekiel and how he's part of the Reopen CT plan. And that's all.
Wow, yeah, I see that. I just clicked on it. Why did you decide to expand your medical and academic career into the private sector? Oh, that's going to be interesting reading.
Actually, and one thing I did I put that? Oh, I hope I don't. But if I didn't talk about it, underneath that thing you were just looking at, it's another comment.
Underneath, let me see something here. Let me go over here. Underneath.
Yeah.
No, wait, let me see. I'm not seeing that.
The one you were
okay.
Yeah, so I just got out of it. But do you see where that this is an article about Dr. Ezekiel written by Anne Lamont.
Okay, that was what I was just on. Wait a second. Let me go back to that. I clicked out. I went on the second comment.
I clicked out too. I'm flipping through.
I flipped out of it too. Here, so wait, oh my God, that's right. Look at this.
And
okay.
The best part about it is, do you see on the second page there, I've underlined the quote, "I work closely with Annie
across several areas, especially advising existing portfolio companies as well as opinioning on prospective investment opportunities." And these are the people deciding our fate in Connecticut behind closed doors.
And I'll just say this last thing, but one of the, people were like, well, he's on the Reopen CT board. Like, that's a conflict of interest that he's involved in your healthcare startup. And one of his rebuttals was, Anne and I, we've done work together, but we're distant partners. This article was written in July 2017. So it's like, how distant could you have become in 3 years? It's all BS. Yeah. I'm so sorry. That was a lot of information.
It
There's so much philanderance to talk about,
there
insider trading,
totally
you know,
is.
that she's directly doing. And we have to think about, this is the last thing I'll say. Think about how much money the state is going to be, because all that money is getting, the federal government is getting overinflated receipts for that. They're getting debt, so we will be filling the gap. The state reports to the feds, over reports to the feds a lot. We don't get it. We got maybe 15%.
Yep, and that's what they're doing with everything. So when you're saying, "Oh, well, there, you guys, they're doing everything. It's all legit. It's all fine. All these companies, they're just fine. They're buying the PPE. Look at this. Look at this." And then the reality is when you look past the veneer, there's some deeper investigation that needs to happen, and these characters need to be held accountable for it. It makes me very uncomfortable. Annie Lamont's relationship with the financial investment world, our healthcare here in Connecticut, and the laws that are being written. That Ezekiel Emanuel could be on the one of many questionable characters sitting on this board, operating in secret, outside of our legislative process, outside of public. This is supposed to all be public information when they're deciding what our fate is, and they're not. And then this is just maddening. I'm just gonna click on this one last time and look at this. Annie Lamont in 2017 writing this about her buddy there.
So they're buddies. Like, they email and shit. Like, I bet you they text. And
Yeah.
so
They eat dinner together. They're hanging out together. She said in 2019 at nursing homes, they need to have less people in nursing homes. And, it's so amazing. She's not saying it because she thinks people should be cared for at home. She's not going to enable that to happen. She's not going to make it easy for you to care for your loved one. If you're financially strapped and you have a sick and elderly loved one, she's not going to make you easier for you to. What's she gonna do? She don't care. People in a nursing
elderly, it's people like in group homes, mentally ill people, which I know a lot of people see them as the dregs of society. They are not. The poor get none of the money, obviously, because these people steal it all. So that's why they're group homes and mental health spaces. They're heinous. They cause more harm than good. They kill you. And that's so they're not getting the money. And the bad guys are. And so, we got to stop being mad at the poor, because the poor get horrible care.
Yeah, they do.
And yeah, so
I appreciate you so much, Victoria. Thank you. We had a long show today. I know I've gotten a couple of messages about some audio problems. I'm going to work on that next week. Hopefully we were heard and there are people watching, but I had two comments saying, one on YouTube saying that it was really going in and out on YouTube, but Facebook, they said it got better. So I'll have to figure out what my audio issue is. I apologize for that one today. Excellent research as usual.
Thank you so much.
All right. So that
see you next week.
See you next